Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We clinched the 4th seed. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. Those Boston Celtic bench players, they came to ball. The Knicks built up as much as a 20-point lead, 21-point lead, and still, Boston fought back. Made it a tight game down the stretch, but the Knicks were able to pull it out, ladies and gentlemen, to clinch that 4th seed. And listen, man, however you got to do it, you got to do it. Like RJ said at the end of the game, any win is a good win. You know what I mean? Any win is a good win. Now the Knicks get a week off, get themselves fresh, get themselves together, and heading to the playoffs versus the Hawks, ladies and gentlemen. Versus the Hawks. Let's take a look at the box score. The Boston Celtics were led by Jabari Parker. And I'm going to tell you what. I know Jaylen Brown is out. But watch out for Jabari Parker in the playoffs, I think. Really. You know, he's a guy that's been around the league. He knows how to play basketball. He knows how to score. And, you know, because of his injury-prone career, he's looking to prove that he still belongs in the league. And if he gets a chance, I think he can do some work in the playoffs. 18 points today, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 60% from the field. And I'm not saying he's going to be Jaylen Brown, but he can help this Boston Celtics team. Tremont Edwards, he had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Romeo Langford had 14 points. Grant Williams had 13 points. The Celtics team just wouldn't go away. They kept fighting and kept battling. They wouldn't go away. As for the Knicks were led by R.J. Barrett. He had 22 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Julius Randle had 20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Reggie Bullock, he had 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Alec Burks had 17 points. Derrick Rose had 7 today. Got a chance to rest a little bit more. But the Knicks pull it out, and they face the Atlanta Hawks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And, you know, that's going to be a couple days from now, about a week or so. But congratulations, man, to all Knicks fans. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. We're here, ladies and gentlemen. Now the fun really starts. Now we really get to see what this team is made of. I got Josh and I got Andy in here. What's poppin', fellas? How are you feeling? The Knicks clinched the 4th seed. We're officially here. A lot of talk, you know, early in the season that, you know, the Knicks add this guy, that guy, one more player. They can be a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. Well, they're a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference right now. Right now. Andy, how you feeling, man?
Yo, I'm feeling great. I didn't need, that stress to end my day. But I'm gonna take one more shower before going to bed, and I hope the next games I'm gonna be definitely watching live. So I'm gonna be on post game shows probably. It was a journey. I'm not gonna lie. Before the season, I didn't envision this kind of basketball the Knicks were gonna play. But I am damn proud of these guys after so many years of let's call it bad basketball.
Yeah,
it's really good to feel and to see this kind of basketball with the guys wearing the Knicks jerseys on, right? So it's awesome.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. It definitely is. Josh, how you feeling, man?
I feel great. The Knicks are a 4th seed, home court advantage, first game at Madison Square Garden, first playoff game at Madison Square Garden in 8 years. I'm very excited for what this team has done this season, and I'm excited moving forward what they're going to do in the playoffs. But Andy was using past tense, the season, the season back then. Playoffs, the season's still going on, in my opinion. The job is not finished. I want to see what this team is going to do moving forward. Well, with that being said, I'm very happy for this team. Good kudos to Tom Thibodeau, Leon Rose, Scott Perry in the front office for putting together this team. And the camaraderie is there. You see how these guys play for each other. I don't think we necessarily had a bad game today. I just think the Celtics brought it. The Celtics, you know what I mean? Their backup players, came in and they didn't take anything for granted. They were playing to the whistle. So, good job by the Knicks. We were 4th seed, but the job is not over yet. The season is still going on.
Yeah. And you look at it and the Knicks are up, 20 or whatever, however many points they got up. I think they got up about 20. And as a team, I'm pretty sure they look and say, okay, we got this wrapped up, and their mind starts to get set towards the playoffs. You know what I mean? Their mind starts to move on to different things. And while their mind is moving on to different things, these young players for the Celtics, they're still in today. They're still here. They're still playing. And naturally, and it's something that as a young player, you got to learn to fight off. Naturally, something like that happens, you kind of relax a little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of relax and you're ready for this thing to wind down because you're anxious for the playoffs. So they did a good job holding on because the Celtics put that pressure on. And it's time to get it together for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau's going to have a very good coaching plan for the Atlanta Hawks. They're a team that we've got to pay attention to. We got to be ready for them. That pick and roll is deadly. Trae Young is deadly. Their outside shooting is deadly. They're going to be healthy. It's going to be a tough battle against the Atlanta Hawks. There's no doubt about that. But the Knicks will definitely be up for it. Any concerns that you have, Josh, I start with you going into the playoffs. Just, any adjustments or anything like that. Any concerns that you have that you want to see the Knicks fix over this next week or try to fix. And they may not be able to fix because they don't have the personnel, but at least try to put together a plan to address any issue.
Well, like you mentioned in the pregame show, and like I mentioned earlier on the Divine Show, the pick and roll defense. That screen and roll killed us the last time we played Atlanta. I think we got to come out with a game plan to try to limit what Trae Young can do off that screen and roll. Also, and the biggest thing for me, rebounding. Although Atlanta doesn't have that many big presence in the paint, they still have Clint Capella, who's one of the best offensive rebounders in basketball. So we got to be able to limit what he can do off the glass. Luckily for us, we're not playing, big bruising centers like the Joel Embiids or anything like that, because we've struggled against those big guys for the most part throughout the season. So rebounding, taking care of the glass, that's something we definitely have to do. And also, defending the screen and roll, I think that's something we definitely need to focus on and work on this week in practice as we get ready for Atlanta.
Yeah. Clint Capella, he's not a small guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not huge, but he's not a small guy. So he's one of, if not the best offensive rebounder in the game. And that's an area where we really do have trouble grabbing those offensive rebounds. Grabbing those defensive rebounds and stopping teams from getting offensive rebounds. That's something that I really think we've got to get together. Andy, what about you?
Yeah, it's exactly like Josh said, and I mentioned it on the pregame show. Exactly those two places where we gotta, just have a game plan for it. Atlanta was doing this the whole season, so it's nothing new. But they're doing the whole season. They still managed to pull out 40 wins with it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like any team can stop it. And it's not going to be probably. They got also also adjustments in case, for example, a team does this or that. They got an adjustment for that ready already. So it's going to be a hard game. I just hope that Thibs is gonna be able to adjust mid-game. Not once, only in the halftime. I'm going to be, looking if he can, adjust game plans even through quarters, through timeouts. And because that might be, a thing that he will have to do versus Nate McMillan. He's also a great coach, a great tactician. So, I hope this is going to be also a coach's battle. Not only the players and all the teams, just, coaches are going to be really, really important in this, matchup.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Big shout out to Hilario. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate you. Just looking at today's, quickly looking back at today's game and some of the numbers behind the game. Of course, the Knicks won 96-92. They were out rebounded 55-49. There goes that rebounding thing again. We can't get out rebounded. It's tough to win basketball games when that happens. Tough to win basketball games, and we scratched this one out, but we got to figure out how to keep Atlanta off the boards and not kill us on the boards. 19 assists for the Celtics, only 16 for the Knicks. 4 steals for the Celtics, 7 for the Knicks. 6 blocks for both teams. Both teams didn't, took care of the ball for the most part. Only 10 turnovers for the Knicks, 12 for the Celtics. The Knicks only shot 43% from the field, 40.7% for the Celtics. The Knicks shot 48% from 3, 26.8% for the Celtics. And the Knicks shot about 79% from the free throw line. Wasn't the greatest game in the world for the New York Knicks. But I think they were, their minds just kind of went elsewhere in the game, switching it over to the playoffs, looking forward to this little bit of a break so that they can recharge their battery. So, I kind of think that's where it went. And this team, the Celtics team, just didn't stop fighting. The Knicks held as much as a 21-point lead. The Celtics, every time it looked like they were out of it and they were going away, they come right back. Points in the paint. The Celtics won the battle of the paint. They had 40 points in the paint. The Knicks 26. Only 6 second chance points for the Celtics, 4 for the Knicks. 17 fast break points for the Knicks today, and 16 for the Boston Celtics. So, last game of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Last game of the season, the Knicks pull it out. Looking elsewhere around the league and what the playoff picture looks like in the East is pretty much wrapped up. It's pretty much wrapped up for the East. Philadelphia 76ers, they're number 1 in the East. Looks like they're going to play the winner of they're going to play whichever team is in the 8th seed. I'm sorry. And that's going to be the loser between and I got the wrong thing up on the screen. Let me get the right thing up on the screen. Right now, the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics are going to play for the 7th seed. All right. And if the Washington Wizards I think the
you
Wizards
got it wrong, Sim.
No, the Washington Wizards beat Charlotte.
They beat them. That's why I think the NBA already announced that the Hornets will play the Pacers on Tuesday in Indiana, and the Wizards will play the Celtics in Boston. So
yes, so the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards are going to play for the 7th seed. Right, they're going to play for the 7th seed, and then the winner of they're going to play for the 7th seed. The loser of that will play the winner of Charlotte and Indiana. Right there. So, that's going to be, and as a matter of fact, the Wizards were down, I think, about 16 points in that game. And they came back to beat the Charlotte Hornets. So, that's going to be interesting to watch and see how that plays out. I tend to think that the Washington Wizards will beat the Boston Celtics. I think that they're just playing better basketball right now. So that East is kind of set. Again, the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards will play for the 7th seed. The winner of that will be the 7th seed. The loser of that will play the winner of Indiana and Charlotte, and then the winner of that game will be in the 8th seed. The Boston Celtics need to watch out and make sure that they don't find themselves out of the playoffs. I don't think that they will, but I think they should, they're going to have to be careful. The West is still they're still battling to see what's going to happen out there in the Western Conference. Right now, the Phoenix Suns, I don't know if they beat them already, but they were leading over the San Antonio Spurs. 6 minutes left in the game. It's 108-101 Phoenix. They're fighting for the 1st seed in the Western Conference. The Grizzlies and the Warriors, they're fighting for position. They're playing right now. The Memphis Grizzlies are up 17-8. All right, so right now in the Western Conference, they're battling for the 8th spot. The winner of that game between the Grizzlies and the Warriors will be the 8th seed in the Western Conference. The Portland Trail Blazers, they play tonight. And the Los Angeles Lakers play tonight. So if the Los Angeles Lakers win and the Trailblazers lose, the Lakers will make that six seed and avoid the play-in tournament. The Blazers play the Nuggets. The Lakers play the Pelicans. So that's going to be interesting to watch them. You know, I don't know what the injury reports are, but you would think that everybody would be ready to play for the Los Angeles Lakers today and to try to secure that 6th seed. So it's going to be interesting, man. Whatever happens around the NBA, I'm just glad that the Knicks are where they are, and we are ready to jump into that playoff, man. So now, let's get into it, Josh. Any lineup changes with this week off? Do you foresee any lineup changes?
I do not. I think the Knicks are going to stick to what they've been doing for the entire season. And that's the big thing that we talk about. You know, we often criticize what the Knicks were doing in the previous seasons with the multiple lineup changes, the 20 to 30 different lineup changes that happened in the season. And, you know, that never is a good thing for any team in the NBA. So Thibodeau is going to be consistent. He's going to stick to what he's been doing for the entire season. And he's going to leave the lineup the same. There's no reason to change the lineup. The Knicks are doing fine with the lineup as it is. And like you constantly mention, you say over and over again, if you take Elfrid Payton out the starting lineup, so many other things have to change with that as well. So you keep things the same. Elfrid Payton barely played in this game. Well, I think it was, how many minutes did he have today? I don't know the exact number, but he didn't play that much. So you leave everything the same, and you play it out that way. If stuff happens during the course of the series that will prompt you to make the change, then you make it at that point. But right now, the Knicks have absolutely no reason to change the starting lineup at all. I like what they're doing. I like what Tibbs is doing as far as the rotations are concerned, and I think we'll be fine.
What about, how does it work down the stretch, do you think, then? Where, because Alec, okay, so Derrick Rose, I think that Tom Thibodeau was trying to give Derrick Rose some rest, let Alec Burks play down the stretch, right? But then the Celtics, they got back in the game. Derrick Rose comes back in the game. Who do you think Tom Thibodeau is going to rely on down the stretch? Do you think it's going to be, whoever's got the hot hand, or is it going to be Derrick Rose is the guy that I know, the guy that I trust, and I'm going to play him at that guard spot down the stretch?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both, Sam. I think it's going to really depend on the situation, who has the hot hand. But also, Derrick Rose is a proven performer. Tibbs trusts him. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Derrick Rose and Alec Burks in the court at the same time down the stretch, just to have that shooting in there and have that extra ball handler out there. So I think, it's going to be a little bit of both. I can't really pinpoint who will get the nod over the other person. I think you're going to see a lot of combinations of both of them in the game at the same time, particularly when the Knicks need to go out and get a bucket.
Okay. All right, Andy, what do you think?
Well, I got a couple of ways I think Tibbs might go. The most probable, as I see, I think he's going to stick to exactly the same lineup, exactly same minutes, exactly same rotation. But if we go down, for example, 2-0, or it's going to be really tight games or really blunders, I think he's going to start to mix it up, because it's not like we're going to have tons of chances in the playoffs, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he was going to be using a little bit more of Frank on defense versus Trae Young, and that screen and roll. People say that, he's worse of a defender that he was in his rookie year because of the numbers show or otherwise and stuff like that. I still think he can disrupt, Trae, the most from any Knick player. I was always, noticing Frank's defense and his positioning, his awareness on the defensive end. The offense, totally different. And I'm not going to say, that he's supposed to be taking shots because he's the best 3-point shooter from the Knicks. The percentage shows so. I understand that, the attempts and stuff like that. That's a topic for another, show, right? But I think it's not like it's a huge drop off. We saw Frank used on offense just standing in the corner waiting for the ball to come to him. But on defense, even this game, he played like, I don't know, probably under a minute.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Like 28 seconds.
Yeah, see, and the first time he came in, just before the buzzer for the 5 seconds, the ball just went through him. He got a steal. No, he was trying to disrupt the offense, and Tibbs know that he can do it. So if we are going to have problems containing Trae Young, I think he might get used a little bit more than, this is going to be a situation, but it's going to be a longer one. So, and Guillermo, shout out to Guillermo. It's not a shot versus you, bro. We had a nice chat with Guillermo yesterday. So about this topic, I'm not gonna go into details because it's too long of a chat to say. But maybe one day, Guillermo, we're gonna have the opportunity to unreveal it.
Yeah, and as the week goes on, we're gonna have some deeper breakdowns of this series and really get into the weeds of it. As we have this week layoff between now and the playoffs. Do you think the lineup is going to get short? Are they going to shorten the lineup? Or is Tom Thibodeau going to shorten the lineup? I'll start with you, Andy, and I'll come over to Josh.
Yeah, I think if guys like Obi, Emmanuel quickly, and D-Rose not going to get his minutes cut. He's going to get them expanded. I think he might shorten the minutes for the rookies, even with RJ, if he's not going to be productive. I could envision that. Then again, how it is with offense. You don't have it the first 2 quarters. In the third and the fourth, you can be hot. So it's going to be, that's the thing that I was talking about, the adjustments mid-game, right? Because, we saw this, motions going through RJ's offense, right? The first 2 quarters, he can make a bucket. The third and the fourth quarter, he's hot suddenly, right? So I just think it's going to be depending, of course, on Tibbs and the coaching staff, but also on the, players and their current game, that they're going to play. If they're going to be playing good, efficient basketball, I think the mids are going to stay. If they're going to be lacking or, have lapses on defense, I think they're going to get yanked, way sooner than in the regular season.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure of that. Yeah, that's without a doubt. Josh, what do you think?
So I'm kind of torn about this because typically in the playoffs, coaches do tend to shorten their rotations a little bit. But to be honest, I think if the Knicks deploy a 10-man rotation, that might be a strength, an asset, compared to a detriment to the team. Because if you think about it, you got your starting 5 out there, and then you got Rose, Quickly, and Taj. And then where you fit Burks in at, you know what I'm saying? And then where do you put Frank in? So I think the Knicks need to stick with a 10-man rotation. I think every particular piece, every particular player for their role is important for this team. And it's all going to be situational, right? So Frank is going to get in there during those defensive possessions to not only guard Trae Young, but potential inbounds passes because of his length. So I think, there's going to be a role for Frank at the end of games, just like Andy was saying. And also you need to have Burks and Rose in there for that added scoring, and then Quickly, and then Taj. So that's 10 guys right there. So I definitely will expect to see majority a 10-man rotation for this first round playoff series. But to add on to that, I think that, the main guns will get a lot of minutes. It's going to be a lot of minutes for Randall, a lot of minutes for RJ, because that's what they were doing in the beginning of the season. It's been working out. And I think that's what the Knicks need to do in this first round playoff series.
Yeah. Shout out to Ian Clark. Thank you for the super chat. He said, congratulations, family. Great win. I'm still New York. Yeah, it was a hard-fought win by the Knicks today versus the Boston Celtics. But either way, they wrapped up that 4th seed. Feel free to give me a call, ladies and gentlemen, 516-405-2246. I don't have a lot of time because I got to get to my own basketball game. So if you're going to call in, you better get it because 4:30, I'm out of here no matter what. So you go ahead and call in 516-405-2246. Now, one thing, Jalen Rose, I was listening to Jalen Rose after the broadcast, and he said, Philadelphia has to be happy because in the second round, they've basically got a bye to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you know what, Jalen Rose? I don't think it's going to be that easy. Whichever team makes it to the second round, and I'm counting on the Knicks to be there. It's not going to be that easy. Both teams are going to put up a fight, but the Knicks, they got a defense they got to worry about in Philadelphia. It's not going to be that easy where, we just roll over to the Philadelphia 76ers. So, don't count us out yet, Jalen Rose. Don't count us out yet. We've been counted out all season long. Don't count us out yet. Now, one thing that Tony Crow brought up before, I think it was Tony. And Tony, if you're listening, let me know if I'm mistaken. But he said, he likes the Knicks being the underdog. And he doesn't mind them being in the fifth seed or the sixth seed, right? Because he doesn't, he doesn't mind them being the underdog. As a matter of fact, he thinks they relish in that role of being the underdog right now. Do you think that bothers this team at all? I don't want to say bothers them, but does it do something to their psyche where they say, oh, now we are a top 4 team? Does it put more pressure on this team in particular, these players? Does it put more pressure on them? Does it take away the chip on their shoulder that normally an underdog has? I'll start with you, Andy.
Well, if we're gonna be an underdog, it's the favorite, right? It's gonna be only for the first round. The rest of the rounds, we're gonna be probably the underdog. So right. As far as we get through the Hawks, I'm loving to be the underdog, because even if we collapse, lose, it's gonna be a bittersweet taste, but it's gonna be acceptable, right? And I'm not saying a sweep by 20, 30 points a game, because I know that's not gonna happen. But even if we lose like 4-2, 4-1 even, but it's gonna be close games. I understand, first time in the playoffs after a couple of years of a drought and stuff. I can live with that. The other thing is, imagine us being the third seed or the second seed and losing the first round. Oh, that would be way harder for me to swallow.
Yeah. Josh?
So I think this question depends on who you ask it to, right? If you ask the Knicks in that locker room, they honestly feel all the pressure in the world, because they're going to show up no matter what seed they're going to be, 4, 5, 6. It didn't matter, because no matter what team, they're still not getting that respect from the national media and even from some of the fans. You just mentioned what Jalen Rose said about, Philly has an easy walk to the Eastern Conference Finals if we play them in the second round. So they know that even as a fourth seed, they're still not getting the respect that they deserve. And even from some of the fans who think that the Knicks don't have enough talent to compete in X, Y, Z. So I think no matter what, they know that they have to show up no matter what seed they were going to be. And for some of the fans who basically feel the way I do, they have to frankly show up. You know what I'm saying? So I think they feel the pressure that they need to, that they're there, that they're here in the playoffs, all that hard work they put in during the regular season. They can't let it go to waste. They have to be able to, translate that into a playoff performance. And I want to see what these guys are going to do. Because like I said, if they don't give that same effort and do that same energy that they were doing during the regular season, to me, I just feel like and they probably feel the same exact way.
No, he
froze up some pressure.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you froze up for a second, but we got you. Quick update: the Spurs are now up by 1 over the Suns with 10 seconds left. It's 121-120 in that matchup, and the Memphis Grizzlies are up 2 over the Golden State Warriors, 27-25. Let me get to this caller, then let me get the cornerstone here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hey, Samir, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm feeling great. Just hearing the news of Knicks clinching the third seed. Just very excited about this. It's been a while that, we've had something to be excited about the players. And just facing the Hawks, that to me was the best possible matchup we could get. Obviously, the Hawks are not going to be easy, but I think if we play the right way and we execute, we could beat this team in 6 or 7 games. Granted, Trey Young is going to be a handful, but I think we could pull this off. I really do believe that we have a good shot at it.
Yeah, I believe we got a good shot at it. Look, we're the 4th seed, but they're bringing in some more weapons, right? They got guys that are going to be healthy. We'll see how much chemistry they have on the court with some of those guys that are going to be coming back. But, they have an offense that you got to worry about. So we got our work cut out for us with this Atlanta Hawks team. Definitely do,
the
man.
The way I look at it, Trey Young, he's a star player. He's going to get his. But I look at the other guy, Dan Kevin, and he hasn't done well against the Knicks all year. I would say he's probably the Hawks' second best player. Maybe the third, depending on how you feel about Bogdanovich. But I think that gives us a huge advantage that, he can't handle Randall one-on-one. And we just have to go at him, go at the supporting cast. I think that's the best way to take them out.
Yeah. The one thing I don't want to do, and I appreciate your call, man. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get to some other people. I don't want the Knicks to get into straight one-on-one. We got to be able to move the basketball. Can Julius Randle dominate that John Collins matchup? Maybe. But I don't want to get just caught up into one-on-one and kicking it out for just one shot. I want the Knicks to have some good fluency on the offensive side. Not that we're going to, our defense is going to be the calling card, right? We got to shut them down and stop them from scoring. That's going to be our calling card right there. But still, I want our offense to at least, look good. And maybe, the past few games we've been kind of reverted back to scoring that, 104, 105 points a game. I know in the previous game yesterday we scored 118, but, we kind of reverted back to that a little bit. I want to see if we can get back to scoring the basketball like we were scoring a couple of weeks ago, Kev, what's going on with you, man?
In the words of James Brown, I feel good. Da 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 da. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. We've won 41 games this year. No one, I believe, on this panel, including me, had that. I had us at 35 plus, and I'm just ready. It's been a long time coming, but these playoffs are going to be so exciting. And I know everyone has their fears of this Atlanta team. I do not, because I believe that Thibodeau is going to have these guys ready to play. I'm not taking what happened today or, some of the mishaps we had on yesterday into consideration, because once the ball goes up during our first playoff game at the Garden since 2013, we are going to come out on gun smoking. So I'm really excited. I'm hyped. Anything you can call it, I am there. And I'm sure that everybody, all other Knicks fans, are feeling the same way. I didn't care who we played. I'm glad that we're playing Atlanta. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And it starts with Atlanta. And then we go on from there. That's all it's about.
Yeah, all right. And before I get to G-Man, for anyone keeping tabs, if anybody is keeping tabs, in J. Cole's first game with the Patriots Basketball Club in the Basketball Africa League, he played 17 minutes, scored 3 points, he had 3 rebounds, had 2 assists, also had 3 turnovers. His team won 83-60. Anyone who's keeping tabs on J. Cole and what he's doing in his professional basketball debut. G-Man, what's going on with you, man?
Do we have to go to him?
Silence, little man. Silent. Just be. So, first of all, salute to the chat. Salute to the panel. Andy, Josh, Sam. I'm ecstatic that we're at 41 wins for the season. Number 4 going into the playoffs. That's a great accomplishment. Nobody thought that we could be here. Nobody. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? We are the talk of the town. I do have some concerns with what I saw today, some significant concerns that I'm hoping that Tiz can get a wrap on or handle on over the course of the next week. There is no way possible in my mind that you could have told me before the game that Boston was going to run out, their bench players with some G League players sprinkled in there, and we're going to struggle against that team. That just doesn't make sense to me. So I guess that my thing is this: we have to understand where we are versus where we came from. At the beginning of the season, expectations were a little bit different. Now, based on what we've done throughout the season, expectations are a little bit higher. So the expectation would be that you come out in a game like this and you go ahead and put your stamp on the game early. There's no way in my mind we should still be playing our starting five in the fourth quarter against this Boston team. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But I'm hoping that we can overcome this and get ready for game one against the Hawks. We played them before. We know what to expect, and we should be up for this game coming up.
Do you think it has something to do with killer instinct, G-Man?
I think it has a lot to do with our ability, first of all, not to be able to close games. That's number one. So in my mind, the beginning of the game and the end of the game go hand in hand. At the beginning of the game, I want to come out, I want to get up on you early and then manage the game after that point. And then in the fourth quarter, I'm closing you out. If I'm up 17 points at some point in the game, I'm not letting you get close to me. It's just not going to happen. So we have to figure out what that looks like. We have always had a problem closing games out, always, especially in the third quarter. So we just got to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. We got to figure it out. We got to figure out how we're gonna, because just like the Celtics today, the Hornets yesterday, they're not gonna stop fighting. The Hornets fighting for their playoff. I don't want to say their playoff life, but they were fighting to, being in either the 7th or 8th seed in the Eastern Conference, and in the playoffs. If you got a team down, they're not going to stop fighting. You don't have a chance to rest or relax, and you're not going to be playing a team like they played today with the Boston Celtics, who have a bunch of, young guys out there on the floor or vagabonds out there on the floor. Everyone's going to be, teams are going to keep their starters into the end. You know what I mean? Unless they're being blown out by 30. So, but hey, it's a learning experience for this young team. You know what I mean? And
it is.
I think Tom Thibodeau's going to have them ready, and they're going to know. Looking at the season series against the Hawks, the Knicks won the first matchup 113-108. Remember, that was a tight matchup that went down to stretch the game. I believe in that matchup there, that I think that was the game where, or maybe that was the second game. I don't know. I was going to say that was the game where Emmanuel quickly got the steal from Trae Young, but I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure. Now, in that game, the Hawks kind of had, they had Trae Young, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella, Cam Reddish. Danilo Gallinari was out, but they had Kevin Huerter. They had Bogdanovich, Solomon Hill played. They were pretty much healthy. Different coaching at that time. Different coaching. Yeah. Right? Of course, we know the Knicks took all 3 games for the Atlanta Hawks. The second game, the Knicks beat them 123-112. I think that there were a number of players out for the Hawks. And then in the last game, the Knicks won the last game, but they had a lot of trouble with that screen and roll. The last game that they played. Yep, they exactly went in overtime. The Knicks pulled the game out, but they had a lot of trouble. The score was 137-127, but they had some trouble with that screen and roll. So this is going to be, it's going to be interesting. This matchup, it's definitely going to be interesting.
I expect Frank to get a lot of run in that one to contain Trae Young with that screen and roll.
We will
He might
see.
do offense.
We
He
will-
might
we-
do offense defense.
Well, you can't
but
do
he's gonna
offense.
have to.
You can't do offense defense throughout the entire game.
No, you can't.
You can do
No,
it. You can do it in the
You're right.
last couple minutes of the game, but you can't do it throughout the entire game.
Right.
So we'll see how that plays out. Again, looking at the playoff picture,
but you know
ladies
what?
and gentlemen.
Yeah. But you know what, Sam? Real quick, is Cam Reddish and Hunter healthy for the Hawks?
I think so. I think so. You know what? I have to do. I'm going to do a deeper dive during the week, so we'll be able to find out a little bit more. Philadelphia 76ers, they have the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, ladies and gentlemen. They play the 8 seed, and it's still yet to be determined who is that person who's going to be in the 8 seed. The Knicks are 4. They play the Atlanta Hawks, who are 5th. The Milwaukee Bucks are 3rd. They play the Miami Heat, who are 6th. And the Brooklyn Nets are 2nd. And they play whoever is going to be in that 7th seed. Now, for the play-in tournament, you have the Boston Celtics will play the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are 34-38. But during the end of the season, they made a crazy run. At the time that the Knicks were winning 9 straight, the Washington Wizards won 8 straight. Right? Russell Westbrook's been on a tear. So that's going to be a game right there for the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to tell you what. If the Wizards get into that 7th seed, they're going to battle Brooklyn. Or if they end up in the 8th seed, they're going to battle Philly. That's not going to be easy for those 2 teams because the Wizards can score the basketball. The Celtics, I don't know what to think about the Celtics right now. They're kind of in disarray. And then you got the Charlotte Hornets and the Indiana Pacers, the 9 or at the 10 and the 9 seeds. The Pacers are at the 9th seed. The Charlotte Hornets are at the 10th seed. The winner of that game will play the loser of the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics. And then, the winner of that game will be in the 8th seed. So we'll see how that pans out. And in the Western Conference, you can see the way it's shaping up right now. You have Golden State and Memphis battling to see who's going to be in that 8th seed. Right now, Memphis is in the 9th seed. And they'd be facing off against San Antonio. San Antonio is, they're right there in the 10th seed. They're not going anywhere. It didn't matter what they did today. They weren't going anywhere. So Memphis and Golden State, they're battling for that 8th seed. And then the Lakers, they hope tonight to get to that 6th seed. Where if all things stay the same, they might end up playing the Denver Nuggets. Or the Los Angeles Clippers.
Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, real quick. With the Boston, if they go out in the first round, do you think the Celtics coach's job is on the line?
Yes.
I would think so.
I do. I think so. I think his job is on the line. He might keep it, but I think it'll be on. And the reason why I say he might keep it is because the Celtics suffered a lot of injuries this year. But I think his job would be on the line. And next year, when you had a regular season was back to normal, and if they didn't perform, I would think that he'd be out of there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he'd be out of there.
And also, I want to congratulate you on your first playoffs with the Knicks this year. This is your first year with you doing your podcast, and the Knicks are going to be in the playoffs. So congratulations to you, man.
Appreciate that.
Now you kept our heads above you.
Appreciate that. Now I was doing some blogging back in the day when they were in the playoffs when they had Melo and everybody. I was writing back then. Okay. I got invited to media day and everything.
Oh,
that's
cool.
when I was writing.
Right.
That's when I was writing. Once I started getting on live and we had people voicing their opinions, no longer would they allow me to come to media day. I don't care. They said, nah. Y'all don't think we got talent over here. We're not inviting you to media day. But it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait. And hopefully this is going to be every year. Hopefully it's going to be every year.
Yeah, because your content, I know for your content this week, you're gonna look at all angles, and it's not going to be just one day where it's like the keys to the game and everything. I know you're gonna have a full, 2 or 3 days of dissecting all this,
Yeah,
and
man.
then put some content out.
Yeah, we're
Just
going to break it
excited.
down and dissect it. We're going to get into it, really get into this matchup and what it looks like. So that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, and see Isaiah be that pessimist that he is, but that's another story. So
Oh, yeah,
there you
that's
go.
another story. I might not invite him on. Might not invite him on. But hey, listen, I got to get ready to rock out of here because I got to get to my own basketball game. So I'm going to get ready to get on the road. But any last words before we get out of here? Andy, I'll start with you.
It was an awesome run, Sim. I hope it doesn't end really fast. Just let's make it to the finals. If not, at least let's be competitive, and I'm going to be happy with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Josh?
Job is not finished. That's all I got to say.
Okay. All right. That's right. We still got work to do. A lot of work to do. Kev?
I echo the same sentiment as Josh. It is not done yet. We still got a ton of more games to play because I expect us to be in the NBA Finals. That's just me. I know a lot of other people saying slow before you roll, whatever you want to call it and everything. But that's just my belief. That's just my belief because of the body of work that we put out this year. And I know Tibbs is just going to have this team ready, especially also if we get Mitchell Robinson back. That's going to be a huge added bonus to us. And I'm just excited, man. How many times around this time in years past, were we just looking for the season to be finished and then, thinking about the draft? We don't have to do that now. We're thinking about, how we're going to play Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs. And then hopefully, whoever else that we have to battle, because I do believe that we'll win this first round. It's just a great feeling, man. It's a great feeling when we're in the playoffs. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah. But other teams out there, they have a body of work too.
I understand, but I'm talking about us.
All
I don't
right.
care about them.
All right.
I don't care about them.
All right.
I care about us. This is the New York Knicks. That's
okay.
what
I'm just making sure you know
about.
that other teams, they have a body of work as well. That's all.
Yeah, they have a body of work too, but sometimes they still come up small as well. A la Philly, a la Milwaukee. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Okay. I've known what we've done. I know what our personnel is. Let's just go get it done. Our work is not done yet.
Okay. All right. G-Man?
So, first of all, congratulations to the New York Knicks for a 41-game winning season, for being in the number 4 seed going into the playoffs. That's important. That's something that we have not been able to accomplish for years and years and years. And for all those Knicks fans out there that have suffered through this painstaking journey, thank you for sticking in there. Thank you for hanging in there with the team. And we're now just beginning to be able to see the benefits of, what a good plan looks like when you have responsible people at the helm of an organization, right? I think that moving forward, minus these last couple games, last trio of games that we've had, when we've come out slow, and people would attribute that to a chink in our armor. I'm here to tell you that Tom Thibodeau has seen the same thing we're seeing, and he's addressing that in the locker room, and he'll address it. He has a week of practice. When's the last time Tom Thibodeau has had a week of practice with these guys?
Week of practice.
Right.
Not 3 days, a week.
Yeah.
A whole week.
A whole week. And I'm sure he's going to give him a day off, at least one day. Give him a day off to rest, recharge their batteries, get away from basketball for a minute, and then come back ready to go. Maybe even 2 days. Who knows?
That's a fact. I think long term, I think we'll be ready for game 1. I'm looking forward to game one. I'm looking forward to the back and forth banter between those that say we're ready, we're not ready, whatever the case may be. I have faith in this team, and I have faith that when we go into game one, we'll be ready for what's to come.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, before I get out of here, Kev, it is slow your roll. Slow your roll. You know, not slow before you roll, just slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Do you have practice to get you? Don't you have a game to get you?
I'm just saying. I don't want you to go any place. I don't want you to go outside of NBK and say that. So we're going to get it right here. That way you go someplace else, you got it right. You know what I mean?
You, Andy, and Uncle Freezy are the key manipulators in my life.
All I said, I'm just helping you out. I'm helping you. I'm helping you. I'm just helping you out, bro.
You're giving the chat fodder or whatever you want to call it.
Fodder, Cam. Fodder is the word you're looking for. Oh my God! I'm gonna get you a thesaurus. I'm gonna send you a thesaurus. Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy it. Celebrate. The Knicks got the 4th seed. Clinched the 4th seed. We got home court in the first round. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. I'm out of here. Everybody who wished me luck on my game, thank you. Appreciate it. We out.